The future is not just on Earth, it's among the stars. Private space exploration is undeniably humanity's best hope. It drives a crucial technological frontier. Welcome to Fluent Talk.
And welcome to the age of irresponsible billionaire ego projects, Mr. Visionary. To our listeners, your focus today must be on high-value economic and ethical terminology. Terms like resource allocation are key.
If concepts like planetary defense or existential risk excite you, but you struggle with the rapid dialogue, please use the rewind button liberally. Listen for the conviction and the passion. It guides you through the complex strategic concepts.
Let's begin. I state clearly, this massive private investment is a catastrophic distraction. It is an unforgivable failure of resource allocation, ignoring poverty and climate change.
But the pursuit of the technological frontier always brings back immense benefits to Earth. It's an investment, not a distraction. It's humanity's best hope for long-term survival.
You are confusing incidental spin-offs with intentional problem-solving, Mr. Visionary. We need to talk about the trillions diverted to escape routes for the wealthy.
Well, perhaps the very act of leaving Earth makes us appreciate it more? The technology developed to sustain life on Mars will surely save lives here.
We don't need a trip to Mars to invent a solar panel or clean up plastic. We need the will and the money.
The vision inspires the will.
Or it just inspires rich men's fantasies. There's a difference.
It's about the species, not the individual. The long-term survival of the species makes private space exploration humanity's best hope. Putting all our eggs on one planet is an unacceptable existential risk. Colonization secures our future.
But that wealth could be used today to lift billions out of poverty. This represents a brutal ethical failure of resource allocation. We are choosing Mars over medicine for children.
That's a false dichotomy. The technological progress driven by the technological frontier eventually lowers costs for everyone. Think GPS, satellite communication, modern computing, all born from the space race.
The resource allocation? Can you define precisely how that term is failing in the context of this massive investment?
I'm happy to clarify. Resource allocation refers to the distribution of available means, money, energy, talent, towards competing uses. Ms. Skeptic argues that these vast resources are misallocated, flowing toward space instead of urgent earthly challenges.
Exactly. That misallocation is not just inefficient, it is a catastrophic distraction from real ethical responsibilities. The money goes to rockets, not to clean water.
The price of inaction is extinction, Ms. Skeptic. You cannot put a price on insurance against existential risk.
But at what cost to present suffering?
A species must plan for tomorrow to survive today,
leaving the mess behind for the rest of us.
This obsession with a faraway colony is a catastrophic distraction. It gives policymakers an excuse to neglect climate change, pandemics, and nuclear risk here on Earth. They just say, we have a backup plan.
That backup plan is the only ethical choice. The potential for asteroid impact, supervolcanoes, or a self-inflicted nuclear war is a real existential risk. Colonization mitigates that risk. It's humanity's best hope.
But the money needed to colonize Mars could solve climate change here. The effort is inverted. We are preparing to leave the fire instead of putting it out.
I must interrupt. You use the term existential risk. What does that term encompass when we discuss space colonization? What are the critical threats we are running from?
Existential risk refers to any event that could cause human extinction or permanently and drastically curtail human potential. While space colonizers focus on external threats like asteroids, I argue they ignore the immediate self-inflicted threats like climate collapse, which is the most pressing existential risk we face.
But the same innovation that gets us to Mars, like closed-loop life support, is essential for solving problems here. It is the ultimate technological frontier, accelerating solutions for sustainable living everywhere.
It's an incredibly expensive, inefficient way to conduct an R&D project. The motivation is escape, not solution.
The motivation is survival. You cannot deny the fundamental drive to survive.
A selfish survival for a handful of elites.
A seed for the future of the species. The very act of pushing the technological frontier requires radical innovation that spins off into every industry. Medicine, energy, manufacturing. This benefit alone justifies the investment.
But you are ignoring the ethical dimension of resource allocation. We have millions starving, and we are talking about building a luxury habitats on Mars. The ethical math simply doesn't add up.
But I believe that private enterprise drives innovation faster than bureaucracy. This technological frontier is moving at a speed impossible for government agencies to achieve.
Hold on, Mr. Visionary. You used the term technological frontier. What does that term specifically mean in the context of a space exploration? Like, what are the truly essential breakthroughs?
The technological frontier in space is the necessity of creating completely self-sustaining, closed-loop systems, recycling water, air, and energy with 100% efficiency. This extreme efficiency is the essential breakthrough we desperately need to manage resource allocation on Earth.
We know how to do that here. We simply lack the ethical allocation, the political will, and the financial priority. Space colonization is a political distraction from moral failure.
The moral obligation is to protect the species. The highest priority is survival.
Survival for whom? The rich?
The technology will be available to all.
The missions quickly shift from pure science to colonization. This privatization is a catastrophic distraction from true science, the search for life, understanding the universe. It's now about establishing dominance.
But the establishment of a space infrastructure is essential for planetary defense. How can we divert an asteroid if we don't have rockets and permanent off-world bases? This is a national, even global necessity.
That is an incredibly small probability event. You are using planetary defense as a PR shield for colonization. The resources needed to fight climate change, a certainty, far outweigh the need to defend against an asteroid, a possibility.
You have mentioned planetary defense several times. What does it mean for private entities to be responsible for planetary defense? Isn't that a government role?
Planetary defense is the collective effort to protect Earth from near-Earth objects. While it should be a public government-led role, the current privatization means we rely on the interests and technology of billionaires, which creates a huge existential risk gap. Their priorities might not align with global survival.
The efficiency of private companies drives down the cost of launches, making all scientific and defensive missions cheaper. The private sector is the essential engine for this technological frontier.
Efficiency at the cost of ethical resource allocation.
And the promise of a multi-planet species.
While Earth drowns.
Ultimately, space is an inevitable future. The private sector is simply getting us there faster. The ethical responsibility is to embrace this as humanity's best hope, not fear it as a catastrophic distraction.
The ethical responsibility is to the 8 billion people currently on Earth. The creation of an exclusive, expensive space exit strategy is morally bankrupt and a complete failure of resource allocation.
The wealth generated by the technological frontier will eventually lift all ships. We must expand our reach to expand our minds and resources.
You assume a trickle-down effect that history rarely confirms. The focus on leaving gives people permission to stop caring about fixing what's broken here. This is the catastrophic distraction in its purest form.
I concede that present needs are urgent, but the insurance policy against existential risk is non-negotiable for the long-term continuation of our species.
I remain convinced that this is a catastrophic distraction from our true moral and economic responsibilities on Earth.
So we wait for the next comet? That's reckless.
No, we use the money to stop the impending heat death of our planet.
But the potential.
The only potential that matters is survival here and now.
My conclusion, space exploration is undeniably humanity's best hope.
But it's an ethical failure of resource allocation.
It expands the technological frontier and provides planetary defense.
It is a catastrophic distraction from true existential risk on Earth.
A multi-planet species is the only way to guarantee long-term survival.
You are building an escape hatch for the rich.
The innovation will benefit all. The discoveries are for everyone.
The suffering here is real and immediate. Prioritize Earth.
I urge everyone to look up, embrace the stars.
I urge everyone to look down. Fix the home you have.
The cost of fear is extinction.
The cost of negligence is higher.
And what a truly immense debate about our priorities as a species.
I'm a skeptic focused on the ethical costs, arguing that this is a catastrophic distraction and a failure of resource allocation in the face of immediate human and environmental crises.
Well, I, Mr. Visionary, championed private space as humanity's best hope, driving the technological frontier and providing necessary insurance against existential risk through planetary defense.
Fantastic work, listeners. If you track the complex scientific, ethical, and economic terminology, followed the intense arguments, and felt the stakes, your advanced English listening skills are ready for the global stage.
If any of the concepts felt too fast, remember our most crucial tip. Listen to the tone. Was I optimistic? Was she stern? The tone guides you through the concepts. Pause, listen, and repeat. Please like and subscribe to Fluent Talk.
Join us next time for EP 29, where we will dive into a crucial discussion on universal basic income. Is it the answer to automation and poverty, or a fiscally irresponsible plan that kills motivation?
That promises to be a grounding discussion after all this talk of Mars. Thank you for challenging your English skills with us today.
Goodbye, and remember to look after our pale blue dot.
you